the Savannah Guthrie video, the kidnapper. You could tell how they was moving. Straight amateur, $6 million ransom. Dang, cold lick. They come here and take the lady, over 80, senior citizen. Come take the newscaster's mom, 6 million ransom. Crazy work. Crazy work. Inside, outside. But by looking at that video, that is not professional. It's not a professional look right there. So the FBI is trying to do whatever they can, man. But our prayers go to that senior citizen lady. I just can imagine what she's going through, being kidnapped in the middle of the night like that. We know how a lot of these things turn out. You know what I'm saying? And the last I seen, the family, they had got the 6 million, told them they're gonna pay it. But the deadline came and went because man, on these situations like that, it don't turn out too good. It really don't. So I just want to touch on that a little bit because, it's a lot of things happening in 2026. That's why you gotta be on your P's and on your Q's. Even sometimes that ain't enough. But you gotta be prepared for whatever the situation gonna be. $6 million ransom. You know what I'm saying? That they put out there. You want your mom back? We want $6 million ransom. You know what I'm saying? And they've been saying they got the money, but the ransom day came and went. And all of a sudden today is a video pop up with the guy at the front door. Straight amateur in my opinion. So, the FBI is on them, But that poor senior citizen, man, she got to be going through it, man. Because they do you all type of ways, and then with her being a senior citizen, old like that, they're not going to, in my opinion, they're not going to be babysitting her like that, man. She's a senior citizen. They're not going to be babysitting with her that long. That's if she's, not already unalived. You just never know, man. You never know. So, they released the video today. So the FBI is doing their job. Patel them. We're going to see what they all about and try to get this lady back home safely. I couldn't imagine my mom or my grandmother, being kidnapped like that, with a $6 million ransom out there. That's unbelievable. But these days, man, these news reporters, it's so much political stuff going on and so much things going on about the situation, about that particular family as well. It's a lot of things going on behind the scenes, It's a lot, That's why you gotta pay attention to your family. You gotta pay attention. You gotta have everybody, prepared in some kind of way for something, just in case, because you never know. Don't get caught with your pants down. Don't get caught slipping, because you never know. You never know. Things happen to other people and you think that it can't happen to you, but it necessarily can, man. Especially with all these distractions that's going on around here. There's a lot of distractions going on in the world these days, man. You gotta keep your eyes open and your ears open. You gotta watch. You gotta pay attention to your circle. You even gotta pay attention to your family. You gotta understand if somebody in your family making some shady moves, you might have to cut their ass off. That's how it is these days, man. Everybody care. If you think about it, man, most people these days, they only care about themselves. They care about themselves and attention more than anything, chat. And that's what we got to realize. Your own family, friends, people you grew up with. That's why it's good to keep the ones that you know that's loyal to you. And how you know if somebody loyal to you is the signs and the and how they treat you in real life, not about they words. You got to go by actions. You know, action speaks louder than words. We got to understand that, chat. You know what I'm saying? We can't be distracted. You got to be, these days, you got to be laser focused. Appreciate y'all for joining me. I'm your host, the one and only Stock Sniper. This is The Walk Down. This is season 3, episode 172 of The Walk Down. I forgot to add that in my description because I want, you know, this is The Walk Down. I run 3 miles and then I walk another mile and a quarter, sometimes more, depending on what we're talking about. And this represents I'm staying in my own lane and I'm minding my own business. And I'm working on my health because health is very, very important. It don't take nothing. Go out and walk, right? Watch what you put in your body. You know, we gotta watch that. You know, because they're putting most stuff in this in this food. They're putting a lot of chemicals, trying to make it stretch. You know what I'm saying? They're being the chef in the kitchen, like Steph Curry. They're being the chef in the kitchen. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to stretch it as much as they can. In other words, they water whipping all this stuff that we put in our bodies every single day. That's why you got to pay attention. You know, it's hard to avoid it, but also some things you can do. Particularly, you got to stay away from the sugar as much as possible. You don't think that sugar ain't toxic, because it definitely is. And the salt. You know, not saying that you can't have none at all, but salt and sugar, you know, is very, very toxic. And you want to keep that down to a minimum. You know, we gotta understand that. You know what I'm saying? They're putting most sugar in these sodas more than ever. You look like Beetlejuice from Howard Stern. You need salt to survive. Well, keep on eating all that salt then. And then you'll see. You'll see you end up with high blood pressure. Keep putting all that seasoning, overloading seasoning on your food. And you'll see what I'm talking about. This ain't something that I heard. This is something I know. You better listen to the OG. That's why you go to the doctor and you find out you got high blood pressure. The first thing your doctor's gonna tell you is to cut back on the salt. That's exactly how it goes. And you gotta understand that. We gotta understand that. You gotta understand that. As we got 34 people in the building. You gotta understand that. So yeah, appreciate y'all for rocking with me. But yeah, too much salt, chat. It's not good for you, and sugar as well. You better take it from the OG. You better listen and pay attention to what I'm saying. As I gotta get over here, this is The Walk Down. This is the season 3, episode 172. As I got off course a little bit, now I'm back on course. So how y'all doing, chat? How y'all doing out there? I hope y'all day is going good. I hope everybody survived the cold winter storm that we had. I hope everybody survived it. Hope it's nice and warm like it is down here where I'm at. It's around 70 degrees. No. It's warmer than 70 degrees. It's probably about 85 degrees where I'm at. So I hope everybody temperatures are getting back to 70 and 80 degrees and 60. Hope nobody's going through those winter storms and stuff that we had a couple of weeks ago. Appreciate y'all for joining. We got 35 people in the building. Hey, what's up, ATM Tim? How you doing, bro? What's up to Don? What's happening to Don? What's happening, chat? How y'all doing? Thank y'all for joining me on this walk down. Thank y'all for joining me. Hope everybody having a great, amazing day. Hope everybody having a great, amazing day. My day is going lovely. My day is going real, real lovely. I just got through running my 3 miles. Now I'm walking my mile and a quarter. And guess what? It's all good. You know? It's all good, chat. As we head into the beginning, well, the middle of February, the month going by quick. It's going by pretty quick. Let me get over here to the other side. Let me get over here to the other side. We got 33 people in the building. Y'all do me a favor and double tap the screen. If you're having a great day, double tap the screen and let the OG know everything going good. I got time to read the comments today. I'm walking kind of slow, so I have to start reading the comments a little bit more. But if you don't know, when I'm walking, I'm usually walking fast, you know, and it's hard for me to read the comments. But guess what? I'm slowing down. I'm finna practice and work on slowing down and reading more of the people's comments on the walk down. As y'all look at this beautiful golf course. 1206, PNW Patriot. Stay safe, stay positive, stay humble, and stay dangerous. Much respect from Seattle. Shout out to Seattle. Shout out to the Seattle Seahawks who won the Super Bowl. Shout out to Seattle. Even though I was going with the Patriots, shout out to Seattle. If you did join me for that live, because we did react and did live commentary to the Super Bowl. Shout out to everybody that joined us on that live. Shout out to everybody that came through and cracked the jokes and everything else like that. We really, really appreciate y'all. So yeah, we gotta be safe, chat. You know, you gotta pay attention to what's going on. You know, you can't get distracted. You know, you can't get distracted. You gotta pay attention, especially in public. At home, have your plan together on what's going on. You know, what we're gonna do on this situation, that situation, and whatever situation come your way, it's not gonna stop, you know, something from happening, because whatever is written is whatever is written. But at least you have be prepared. You know, preparation is very, very, very important. Very, very, very important. We gotta understand that's why when I be out here and I be out and about, I'm always looking, I'm always paying attention. You know what I'm saying? I'm never just staring at the phone. I'm always being real visual on what's going on. You know, we gotta remember that, chat. Sometimes so many people, we just we have a tunnel vision. You know what I'm saying? You have a tunnel vision, you know, and we have to understand in 2026, with all these different weirdos and different things that's going on, you can't, that tunnel vision, you gotta have peripheral vision. You know, your vision gotta be on point. You know, you have to, and what you put in your body, chat, and how you live your life, you know, it has a lot to do with your attention, right? It's a lot, take it from the OG. It has a lot to do with what you put in your body and how alert you are, right? That's why I'm big on, you know, some people get upset, you know, when I say this, but that sugar and that salt, you know, that is toxic stuff, you know, and it affects your focus. It affects your focus really, 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 really a lot, you know. But of course, you know, we gotta eat some of that stuff sometime, but excessive sugar, excessive salt, excessive anything that's not good for you, you know, you gotta stay away from it. You know, and you got to work on your mental health through exercise, through who you got in your circle, through who you communicate with, through who you listen to. We got to make sure of that, guys. That's why what I did, chat. What I did, hey, guess what, chat? PNW Patriot 206 sent a gift. Appreciate you for joining. You are a sponsor of the show, and we love and we appreciate you. You are an amazing person. PNW Patriot 206. You're an amazing person. And we thank you for supporting the show. We really appreciate that. So yeah, chat, we gotta understand that you gotta watch what you put in your body. You have to, you know, and your mental health as well. Whatever we put in our body, it don't just affect you physically, It affects you mentally, and it affects you spiritually. It affects your thinking. You know, it affects your thinking, who you hang around, who you socialize with, who you listen to. You know, it affects your whole aspect of your life. You know, what you put in your body. I see so many times these days, people are drinking more sodas than water, you know, and we got to try to get everything straight and cut that down. You know what I'm saying? That's what we got to do. And also what we listen to on YouTube, on social media. You know what I'm saying? That also affects your daily thinking, your how you move. It affects a lot of that, chat. And now what I had to do, chat, I had to unrecommend a lot of channels, chat, because I started on my little timeline. And I think that's what they call it, when you get a whole lot of channels and people coming across your screen on the internet. You know, I realized I had too much negative and bullshit and bubble gum, you know, things coming across my timeline. And what I found out, what I realized what I did, chat, I started paying more attention to the bullshit and the bubble gum instead of paying attention to my eyes on the end of the prize. I started paying attention to more of the stuff that really don't matter and was not, you know, I kind of slacked up on my attention, you know, and I had to realize that with speed. And I say, hold up, man, I got to unrecommend a lot of these things that's coming across the screen, because we have to be honest, chat. Basically, that's all we do. Most people, our eyes are glued to the phone, particularly me. And me, as an example, I don't even really watch TV no more, chat, unless it's football, basketball, MMA. And a lot of times they got these apps, you know, where you can watch it on the phone. You know, so we are like tied to the hip with the phone, with the tablet, and the computer as well. But more with these phones, we are tied to the hip. You know what I'm saying? We are tied to the hip with it. You know, so we have to use this, because it's a tool. We got to use it in the right way. Because one thing about negative things is, if your life is contaminated with mostly negative things, because we are one-on-one, we're tied to the hip with these phones. And if your time is mostly spent consuming negative things, it's gonna go to your subconscious mind. And then when it goes to your subconscious mind, you'll start thinking negative about any and everybody that's around you. Take it from the OG. You'll start thinking everything will be negative. It could be somebody positive, a good person in front of you. And because you have programmed your mind with so much negativity, right, you'll automatically think that person is negative too. And that could be one of the best people you could ever meet in your whole entire life. You know, that could be somebody that could tell you some wisdom and point us in a different direction that could change the whole trajectory of your family. That's how it goes, chat. And it also, when somebody's telling you something that's right, that negative stuff, and once your mind is full of negativity and everything you hear and see, you think negative about it, guess what's gonna happen? Take it from the OG. Somebody could tell you something that'll save your life, and you're gonna take it as negative and get offended. How many people in the chat are going through that right now in real life? You try to tell a brother something right that'll help him. You try to tell a sister something right that'll help him. You try to tell somebody that you love, you know, something right that'll help them. You try to tell a stranger, somebody you don't even know, but because of your character and how you was raised, you always want to try to tell somebody something right. But then when you tell them something right, guess what? They take it in a negative way and think you're trying to down them. You know, I go through that a lot, Chad. You know what I'm saying? But then that's why they say, man, everybody can't go. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's very, very important. You gotta watch the company you keep, and more importantly, you gotta watch what you're listening to. You gotta watch what's coming across your screen on this internet. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a whole lot of distractions. It's a lot, chat. It's a lot of distractions. Purple Playbook, I tried to tell them that same thing. Gee, yeah. Yeah, OG kick ass, the Don. Hey, what's going on, chat? How y'all doing out there? 40 people in the building. Thank y'all for joining me on this walk down. We are 20 minutes in. If you are just now coming to this channel, this is a show that we created called The Walk Down. We in season 3, episode 172. Run 3 miles a day, and then we walk another mile and a quarter or more, depending on what's going on in the conversation that we're having. And this represents, I stay in my own lane, I mind my own business, and life is a marathon. It's not a sprint. That's the motto of this show. And the show is called The Walk Down. And a lot of people like the show. A lot of people have started exercising because of the show. A lot of people have stopped drinking all the sugar and the salt and because of this show. And a lot of people have came out of, well, not a lot of people, but a few people have came out of pre-diabetic status because they listened to what the OG was saying on here about drinking all the sodas every single day. They went to the doctor and found out that they had pre-diabetes, and then they had to put in the work to get their numbers back in order to get out of pre-diabetic stage. And it's hard work. It took them almost a year to do that. Took almost a year. So we got to understand that, chat. Letting your kids drink sodas all the time and eating all that cake all day, every day. I got to say it as much as I can, chat, because it causes pre-diabetes, and it also causes diabetes. That's what it causes. And guess what? Once you are diagnosed with pre-diabetes, another 5 or 10 years of living the same lifestyle, guess what'll happen? It'll go into full diabetes. But the good news is, there's that you can reverse it by exercise and diet. That's how you can reverse it. That's why sugar is toxic, chat. It's toxic. And we got to understand that, because your body can only hold up to so much sugar. And if you're eating sugar and salt every single day a lot, we like to go to McDonald's, we like to go to Jack in the Box, we like to go to Whataburger. We like to do those things. We like DoorDash and Uber every single day. We don't want to cook. And all that stuff is building up in our systems, particularly if you don't go to the doctor. There's a study out there, 60 or 70% of Americans don't get a yearly checkup. So you could be doing all this in your 20s, and then I know people that don't go to the doctor until something happens, chat. And those are the people we gotta reach, because you gotta go to the doctor every year, or at least every 2 years, to get your blood work done, to see where you're at, to see what's going on. Especially if you're smoking, if you're drinking sodas and eating cakes and pies every single day. Every time you eat, you gotta have a soda. You gotta have the big cup of Sprite, the big cup of Pepsi, and like I say, chat, they're putting sugar in these bottles of soda more than ever. They're doing it more than ever because it's cheaper. It's cheaper for them to make the product if they're using salt. If they're using sugar, and if they're using sugar and the stuff to make it look and taste the way it tastes. So we gotta understand that, and it's my job to let everybody know that, don't get offended. You know what I'm saying? All you gotta do is go talk to a doctor, and they'll tell you the same thing. What I'm telling you right now. Don't be the one to get 40 and 45 years old, and then you go to the doctor, and the doctor tell you got pre-diabetes, and you've been eating crappy for 15 years. Because then it's gonna be hard work, to get up under pre-diabetes numbers. Then you gotta put in the work. So it's best to already be putting in the work. It's best to already be putting in the work. That way you'll be ready to rock. And it's not only good for your physical health, but it's also good for your mental health. Probably because we don't have health care. Well, that means that you gotta find something. If you don't have health care, that means that you gotta go to school. You know, you gotta find something you love to do, and then you gotta find you a career, and then you gotta do it like that. You know, that's how it works. You must have health care. You have to. You know, and a lot of people say, well, I can't afford health care. The first thing I ask them, do you smoke cigarettes? Yes. Do you drink alcohol? Yes. Do you drink soda? Do you go to the corner store every single day? Yes. Well, okay, if you stop smoking cigarettes every day, cigarettes is $10 a pack. You stop smoking cigarettes, you stop going to a Whataburger, that's $15 a day. That's your health care right there. You smoke blunts? Yes. Okay. You stop smoking, you stop putting the bad things in your body and change the way you think, and you put your priorities in order, then you'll be able to afford the health care. $10 a day, that's $300 a month, chat. If someone's in this example, if somebody smoked a pack of cigarettes every single day, that's $300 in a month. You stop smoking cigarettes, you know, you stop going to Jack in the Box, you stop going to the corner store, you'll have enough money to pay for the health care. That's how it works, guys. I hear people say, man, bro, health care is so expensive, but you're smoking a cigarette. You're drinking a soda while you're smoking a cigarette. Some people I know smoke the cigarette and they're drinking Don Julio, howling about they can't afford health care. Bro, you buy 2 bottles of Don Julio every week. You buy a pack of cigarettes every day. Some people I know smoke 2 packs of cigarettes every single day. Come on now. It's all about priorities, chat. That's what it's all about. You gotta put your plan in place, and you gotta put your priorities, get your priorities in order. You know? That's our problem as people, particularly Americans, chat. We don't have an income problem. We have a spending problem. Our priorities are not in order, right? You can find a way, however much the health care is every month, $500, $300. Yes, health care is very expensive these days, chat. I can't lie. But you can get health care if you eliminate the things that don't matter. That's all it is to it. Eliminate is about choices. It's about the choices that we make in life, right? Imagine being 50 years old, my age, and just now buying your first vehicle. Imagine that. That's just bad choices. You know, not thinking short term and not thinking long term. You know, that's what's wrong with America. You know what I'm saying? And that's how they keep us poor, chat. That's how. They know we make the money. They want to keep us as consumers. They know we all make money, but the thing is, we don't keep it. We spend it. That's how it works. And we're spending more money now than ever. Nobody hardly cooks at home anymore. Everybody want to order DoorDash and Uber. So we got to think about it. You got to think about it. So it's just about putting our priorities in order. That's all it is. And take it day by day. And take it as a marathon, not a sprint. Live life day by day. That's my advice. That's my advice as an OG. You gotta live your life day by day. And the earlier you start, you know, the earlier you start, the faster you get to your goals. Just imagine, you're 17, 18 years old or 20, and you go to work. You're living with your parents. You go to work, you use that as an asset, right? You go to work, you save your money, you save your money, you save your money. You don't spend all your money. You don't, you know, you save it all. While you're living with your parents, you go to college. You save your money, you save your money, you save your money. You don't spend it, right? And you keep having that system and plan in place. When you graduate, you'll have enough money to do whatever it is you want to do. Though it's just about the choices that we make in life. And not that many people talk about it, right? Not that many households talk about that. Not that many households is putting plans in place, sitting at the table and analyzing and putting a plan in place. And especially in 2026. Really nobody's doing that no more, chat. You know, so we got to understand that. You know, if you got young kids, start putting a system in place. That way, when them kids graduate college or graduate high school, they'll be ready to rock, you know? Because it's kind of unfortunate to be 50 years old and you just not buying your first vehicle. Like, that's kind of unfortunate, chat, you know? But at the same time, it's just choices. It's choices and paying attention to bullshit and bubblegum. That's all it is, chat. Making bad choices and paying attention to bullshit and bubblegum. That's it. But the good news is, all you gotta do is change. Don't get offended by it. Just change the way you think. Change the way you think about things. We all make mistakes, you know? But the good thing is the best thing is, who are you listening to? Right? If you listening to people in your circle that ain't telling you nothing, you know, if you hanging around the same people that's doing the same thing, you know, then that's what your outcome is going to be. Because whoever you hang around with, whoever you spend majority of your time with, 8 times out of 10, that's y'all 8 times out of 10, that's what you're going to become. And that's just reality. That ain't nothing I heard. That's something I didn't learn from being an OG. Yeah, so we got to understand that. It ain't too late. I've seen older guys, older than me, 60 years old, change it around in 3 or 4 years. You know, it don't take that long. That's the best thing about it, chat, is that in 2026, you can change your life. You can go from 0 to 100 real quick. Long as you get your mind together and you put your plan in place, you can go from 0 to 100 real quick. Especially if you are listening to the right things. If you have the right things on your social media. If you have the right people in your circle. And you got a tight-knit circle. Somebody that's going to tell you about yourself. And somebody you can tell something to and nobody's going to get offended. We're going to grow together. That's why you got to pay attention to your circle. You have to. It goes for family members. It goes from knee-high to a grasshopper, the people you raised with. Because guess what? Everybody can't go, chat. Everybody can't go. And it's just like that. You know, and that comes with growth and development. When you grow and you develop, sometimes we pass people up, chat. Sometimes we outgrow people. You know, sometimes we outgrow people. You know, and that's what comes with growth and development. You know, if you on the path for growth and development, and the people in your circle are not on the same path, guess what's going to happen, chat? You're going to be turned off by them. I said it. You're going to be turned off by them. Why? Because you done grew to another level. You done grew to the next level, and they're not going to the next level. And it's a waste of time if you're trying to bring them to the level that you on, but they're not even trying to get to the next level. They worrying about what's going on Instagram. You know, they worrying about what's going on Facebook, as an example. They worrying about the young and the restless. You know, so you know, and then on the back end, they're not paying attention to what's really going on in real life. They not. And so that's what we got to pay attention to. You know, we need more. We on this internet, we need more channels and more people that's talking like Stock Sniper TV and the people that come rock with this channel. We need more people like that. We need more channels like this. We need more educational, motivational, inspirational channels like this one. That's what we need, chat. You know, that's what we need. Because we got too many distractions in the world. We in on the internet, you know. So that's my assessment on how I'm thinking as an OG. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. We got to make it real simple. We got to make it simple for ourselves. We got to make it real simple for our families. We got to make it real simple for the people we love. And that's just exactly what it is. And you got to realize it's a lot of distractions. And I mean a lot. You know, you'll be worried about this and something else is happening in the back door. That's why you got to keep your head and your mind on the swivel at all times. Just like I just made a 360 turn. Whoever, if you was paying attention, you seen I just made a 360 turn. If you paying attention to the details. See, we got to pay attention to the details. In other words, like my grandpa told me, you got to watch the whole film. We got to watch the whole film, chat. We got to watch the whole film. That's what we got to do. And you got to take notes and analyze. Don't listen to what somebody say. Listen at how they are moving in real life. Listen to how they are moving. Watch how they moving. You gotta pay close attention to any and everything in 2026 and beyond. So with that being said, this is the end of the walk down. I was gonna keep on going, but I gotta stay with my mile and a quarter. I gotta stay with my mile and a quarter. Thank y'all for joining me. This walk down and everybody that come rock with the channel, y'all have helped me out a lot. If you just now on the channel, I run marathons and this walk down and the people that come rock with me at the gym workout, which is going on tonight, I love and I appreciate y'all. All y'all help me out. Y'all have helped me out. And guess what? I'm in the best shape I've ever been in my whole entire life. And it has everything to do with the people that rock with me on this channel, the people that come through and rock with me. Y'all are amazing people. I love and I appreciate y'all as I look for another marathon. And also be on the lookout. I will be competing in a jiu-jitsu tournament. Hopefully July the 5th. That's the goal. That's the goal, chat. I will be competing in the jiu-jitsu tournament. And in that tournament, I will throw up my gi and everything is gonna be gone because I'm getting older. I can't be wrestling and grappling. I can't be doing that. So if God bless, July the 5th, America's birthday, I will be competing in a jiu-jitsu tournament, maybe in a city near you. So with that being said, I love and I appreciate y'all. All the subscribers that's been rocking with me, I love and I appreciate y'all. We are over 9,000 subscribers out the mud, coming close to the 10. And yes, chat, I'm gonna say this before I go. If you are if you're doing the right thing in life, right, and you're not cheating, you're doing everything right. You know it's a marathon and it's not a sprint. You have haters in the world. Will hate on your progress. They will hate and say you cheated or whatever the case may be. But I'm gonna say this right now. All this is straight out the mud. Straight out the mud. Each subscriber on this channel, real people. The people that come rock in this channel are real American and worldly human people. If you're not from America, you somewhere in the world. But anyway, everybody is real here. And everybody come rock with me because they like what I've been doing. They like the channel. You know, they like that this is the freedom of speech channel. Yeah, that's what this channel is. It is the freedom of speech channel. So with that being said, I love and I appreciate y'all. This is the one and only Stock Sniper. Everybody that came rock with me, I love and I appreciate y'all. To the next one. I might go live tonight, chat, from the desk in my comfortable spot. And so if you want to come rock with me tonight, you won't be seeing this. You'll be seeing my face. So subscribe to the channel, cut on all post notification bells. We will be at the gym tonight. It's 3-a-day workouts. We got to hit the weights. Tonight, we're doing arms, but we're doing biceps, triceps, we're doing legs, and we're doing chest. Yeah, it's gonna be a nice long workout tonight. So come kick it with me, give me some pointers. And thank you to everybody that come rock with me on the gym weight training. Thank y'all for coming and giving me pointers, right? I'm not the type of streamer that think I know everything. No. That's not the type of streamer I am. Come give me some pointers tonight. I love when y'all give me pointers. I love when y'all throw out stock picks. I love when y'all give me ideas. I love that because that helps me grow as a person. That's one thing I have always been, type of person that listens. I'm a very good listener. I'm very, very good at that. That's one of my best traits. So with that being said, I love and I appreciate y'all, chat. To the next one. This is the one and only Stock Sniper. I'm out.